Okay, so now that we've chosen our standard, I'm going to select that standard, and it is identify, and you can choose more than one, but we're going to identify and analyze characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. So I'm doing a Control C so that I can copy it, and then we're going to come to a new window, and I'm going to type in bubbl.us in my search bar, and that's going to take us to our concept mapping site, which is Bubble US. I have already set up an account. I suggest that you set up an account in case you decide that you want to change your standard and have to start all over again. So I'm going to sign in. Please don't laugh at my sign in. It's something that I can remember. Yes. Okay. If you do get the flashed notice, it is not a virus. Just go ahead and say that yes, you want to start. So we're going to start brainstorming, and this is what you should see. So we're going to start here in the middle with our standard, and I'm going to cut and paste. Now this particular standard, I'm going to go back to my entrepreneurship, and you see that up here in this corner is the marketing entrepreneurship first standard. That's what that means. The MKT means marketing, the EN means entrepreneurship, and the 1 means standard 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is take that and attach it to our bubble so that we know which state standard we are dealing with. And I didn't copy it, so that's why that happened. So we're going to do MKT-EN-1, and that entire standard says identify and analyze characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see a little better. So in order, remember we were breaking down these standards. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is look at the wording within the standard so that we can decide what it is we have to do. So the very first word says identify, and then the second says analyze. So we have to identify characteristics first. So I'm going to click on my bubble here, and so my second tier would say identify characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Alright, and I'm going to bring this in just a little bit and move it to the side. Alright, so the very next thing we have is to analyze. Characteristics, if I can spell, of a successful entrepreneur. And I'm going to move that off to the side, and I'm going to zoom back out so you guys can see. But what's missing is this right here, which was one of our standards. Okay, so when I come back over here, one of our standards is actually to define entrepreneurship. So what we're going to do is reach back and make that one of our main instructional points. We can't identify and we can't analyze until we define. So we're going to define entrepreneurship. So let's just move these to the side. I'll move that one here, but this one here, so that we can create families and continue to let these grow. Okay, so as I stated within your, let's see if we can minimize that. There we go. Within your overview, we're going to use the CREST method to tease this out. So the very first part is the C, which is the concept mapping, which is what we're doing right here. And concept mapping says to take the actual standard and to break it down into pieces where you think you're going to drive your lesson. The second part is reflection. So the very first thing I want to do as a teacher is to reflect on my own personal experiences within this standard. So how did I first learn about either identifying characteristics of a successful entrepreneur, defining entrepreneurship, or analyzing characteristics of a successful entrepreneur? So the very first thing I can remember is really thinking about my own family and people that own their own businesses. So that's what I'm going to use as my second tier. I'm going to identify people that I know who own their own business. Okay, so that's going to help me define entrepreneurship. And so once I've done that, I've used that as a reflection point. Now I can go in and look at all of these pieces and say identify characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Well, if I know people that are successful business owners, then I can look at them for those characteristics. It says analyze characteristics. If I know these people, then I can analyze their characteristics. What makes them different from others? So I know that my central point is by identifying people that I know or have seen or am cognizant of. Perhaps your students don't know of people in the neighborhood, or your clients don't know of people in the neighborhood, but they can identify people that they've seen on TV that are successful entrepreneurs, whether it be somebody like Donald Trump or something like that. So it's all relatives, but it basically you're going to start right there. So now the next part of your concept mapping is going to be to extend your ideas, and extending your ideas means you're going to start asking questions. So we are going to come over to this side, and my question is how, and I'm going to put that in big letters, how do we identify, I'm sorry, we're still on reflection. How do we identify characteristics of a successful entrepreneur? And come over here and turn that into a question. How do we analyze characteristics of a successful entrepreneur? And we can also rewrite this question as who do I know that's a successful business owner? Okay, so all of that has been rewritten. So we started with the concept mapping. Concept mapping says turn it into a question. Reflection helps you form those questions and helps you decide where you're going to go. And I'm going to put business owner in each of these. Okay, so now that we have the concept mapping piece and the reflection piece done, now we're going to deal with extension. And extension means we're going to connect it to something that we know. So already I know that we are looking for business owners or successful business owners who are entrepreneurs. They ventured out on their own, and that means that we are going to have to find pieces that fit that, and I'm going to start that in the next video.